Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. I was away for a couple days. You guys may have seen me post that on the channel, so apologize for not having a recap of the Sunday night loss 16-10 to the Miami Dolphins. I do want to get back into the film room today to talk about George Pickens, and one big question I know just following Twitter throughout that game and after the game was, why was Pickens not involved more in the second half of that game? 4 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown in the first half, just 2 receptions, 14 yards in the second half. We'll break down, there's multiple reasons, but we'll break down some of the big reasons why Pickens was really quiet in the third and fourth quarter. And just bear in mind, these are explanations, not excuses or me trying to absolve the Steelers of what happened in the second half of this game. 2 overarching reasons we'll look at today. One was field position, down and distance, and another just being part of the progression and what the intent of the play was. We'll start here with the former to talk about down and distance. This is a 3rd and 22 play, and so I thought Pittsburgh, they had sacks. They were, too highly penalized in the second half of this game. It really backed up their offense and forced them to play field position and a lot of small ball overall in this game. So a 3rd and 22 here after Kenny Pickett was sacked. There's Pickens top of the screen. Miami, of course, playing a very loose, passive, keep everything in front of you type of defense and basically forcing the ball underneath. And on this call, it's a design screen to running back Jaylen Warren. So no receiver, including Pickens, is running a route on this play. And so, again, when you're 3rd and 22, you're not going to convert here. You're just trying to play field position in a close game and try to punt and set your defense up in a manageable situation. That happens here with a decent gain on that 3rd and 22. But I thought Pittsburgh really backed up quite a bit in this game in the second half, and that, in some part, limited the ability to give the ball to George Pickens. Same thing here a bit later in the game. This is a 2nd and long situation, so this is coming off an OPI on Diontae Johnson on one of Matt Canada's favorite sprint outs. You see 2nd and 23 here, again, backing up this offense. They're just trying to get back into 3rd and semi-reasonable, and again, kind of focusing on let's play field position the rest of this drive. So 2nd and 23, defense player, Miami's defense playing cover 3 on the snap. Receivers on the outside, Pickens to the top. Chase Claypool to the bottom, running vertical, not going to throw that at all. Again, just basically forcing that underneath throw and Pickett hitting the check down to Jaylen Warren to set up 3rd and still pretty long on this play. So whenever you're in that, and they were repeatedly in 2nd and 16, 3rd and 16, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 23, you get the picture. It's really hard for a guy like Pickens, who's more that vertical threat, to see a lot of action. Now we'll look at just the design and intent of the play, and not to excuse it, but just to explain what's happening here. There were not a lot of opportunities and situations where George Pickens felt like he was the primary read or the part of that primary progression in the second half of this game. This is one of Matt Canada's favorite calls we just talked about a moment ago, the sprint right or sprint to the field, I should say, and the number one receiver, the primary progression on this play is going to be the outside receiver running this curl route. You're going to get the smash concept in the sense of this curl corner. There's Pickens running the corner route to the sideline, but the number one receiver always is this curl route. They've only thrown this corner route once the entire year. That was incomplete to Chase Claypool. And so when that guy's open on this play, Pickett's going to fire it and hit him. And unfortunately, this throw a little bit low, but still certainly catchable by Diontae Johnson, and it falls incomplete. But Pickens is really the number 2-ish progression on this play, and with the cornerback playing off here, the curl being open, Pickett's going to throw that one all day long. A little bit later in the game, Pittsburgh working a snag or spot concept, one of the most common route combinations you're going to see in the NFL. 3-man route combination here of a corner route, a flat route, and a curl route, otherwise known as a spot or snag concept. And so Kenny Pickett's working here to the left side. That's where his progression is going to start. Very rarely do you work backside to where Chase Claypool is at, to where George Pickens is at, unless maybe you see something pre-snap that you want to take advantage of. But Pickett's eyes working this 3-man side here with the back coming out and hitting Johnson open on this curl, this snag concept. So again, Pickens not really going to be part of that progression unless maybe you see some sort of route or opportunity pre-snap. But again, Pickens not being involved in the primary read of the play. Again, a very similar story later in the game. On this play, Kenny Pickett will boot and roll to his right with Connor Hayward coming across and being the primary read on this play in the flat. Here's George Pickens backside, and very rarely do you get to a point here on this play call where Pickens could potentially be a target. Kind of working a sail concept here with Claypool running a bit of a corner route. Johnson running vertical, but settling here with a safety over the top in this two deep shell that Miami's running. But that flat route's open, and it is on this play, then Pickett's always going to hit it. And in this case, George Pickens really probably the last option on a play like this. So just not really involved in terms of being a primary read or target in the second half of this game. So there's Hayward with a good block, a Chubb overall to get open and doing a little bit of something after the catch. But Pickens really the fourth option on this play. And that was kind of, to me, more the theme of the second half and why he became really quiet. Now, there was one time in the second half where they schemed things up for Pickens to be the number one receiver, number one part of the progression on a play. And this is another spot route. We saw Deontay Johnson catch that curl just a couple minutes ago. Now we're going to see Pickens be that primary read on this spot concept. Warren to the flat, Gentry to the corner, Pickens on this curl, the spot, the snack, whatever you want to call it. Still the same thing. And Pickett hits him for a couple-yard gain. But just overall, did not really see this team scheme things up to allow Pickens to be the number one guy or even be part of that triangle read to a particular side for Kenny Pickett in this game, aside from this play, of course. And so overall, Pickens being that more vertical throughout Miami, trying to make sure they did not allow the deep ball in this game, and with this offense being more horizontal, being more play action, boot based, it's not always conducive to what George Pickens is able to do and how he thrives and how he wins. Now, again, I'm not excusing that. I'm not saying that's a good thing. There was certainly a lot of criticism that should go towards the scheme and design of this offense in general with how miserable it's been. I'm just trying to illustrate a couple of plays that talk about why Pickens was really quiet overall in the second half. Again, just 2 receptions for 14 yards. So big picture, big umbrella, probably not one answer to the question of why George Pickens really wasn't getting a lot of looks in the second half. I would say playing behind the sticks had something to do with that, and then just not really being schemed up to be part of the primary progression, primary read for Kenny Pickett is the other large reason for why Pickens was so quiet in the second half. But certainly fair to question why that was the case, considering the plays he made in the first half and just how depressing this offense has been this entire season, including in that second half of that Dolphins game. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.